All right, good afternoon, everybody. It's nice to see you all. I wish there was a few less people, to be honest with you. So, first of all, as you mentioned, I'm an account manager here at Campaign Master, and what we do is provide you the email solutions that you need to get your campaigns out the door. Now, we're based at stand E25, so if you have any questions, feel free to come over and ask. And what I'm going to talk through today are a couple of key points. So we're going to go through sort of the state of the email industry over the last year. And before going into how to improve your engagement, make sure you get the maximum ROI on your campaigns. Then we'll touch upon the next generation stuff, so animations and video within email, stuff that's not done on a day-to-day basis, before going into some little tips and tricks for B2B and B2C type campaigns. Okay? So, just want to point you to most of the information that I'm saying is on our blog and on our Twitter feed, so if you want to note that down and go and have a look and follow us, by all means you're welcome to. Our marketing team are very friendly and do nice campaigns and everything as well. So let's start off with the state of the industry. Now, 2013 and 2014 was a big year, and a lot of people come out and saying that email is dying and social's taken over. So I'm just going to prove to you that that is not the case. So let's have a look at the sort of daily posts that we get from Twitter and Facebook. So we've got 55 million posts a day globally on Facebook, which is a huge figure. Now on Twitter, it's a lot more with 440 million, and as you can see, the circle gets slightly bigger. Facebook does have one, but in comparison, it's just nothing. We then have Google searches, 5.9 billion a day. And as you can probably guess, being email as a global titan, email has 188 billion emails sent a day. Now that's commercial, consumer, B2B, all emails in general. So as you can see, email is definitely not dying, it's definitely here to stay. Here's a little snippet of how this sort of looks in real time. So roughly around this time, this is the current values that are sent. So this was taken actually yesterday and I've incorporated it then. So, how is the email made up? So obviously we have the business and consumer side. So on the business side, currently, there are around 991 million business email addresses. And as you can see in the forecast, it's only going to increase. On the consumer side, there's a substantial more with regards to sort of Hotmail and Gmail and everything. But once again, still on the rise, still showing that email is very big in the digital world today. So what is driving this growth in email? Well, the principal traffic is actually B2B. So business to business communication is what's driving it. We're looking at around a growth of 13% by 2016, with the principal driver being mobile. Now, for those of you who do email marketing, you'll know how important mobile is. Everyone this year should be mobile optimizing their campaigns and thinking about at least going down a mobile route. So, let's have a look at email return on investment and put it into perspective against social. Now, I don't want to knock social. Social is brilliant for what it does. And with regards to communicating with your subscribers and customers afterwards, it does a fantastic job. So 60% of business owners say that email generates better return on investment than social. So with that figure, you can see that email is actually really good to use. For those that send over 100,000, as regards to database size, you look at around a 94% ROI, and those with under 139% ROI. Okay, so your return on investment is really good here. So is email effective? Well, 42% of business owners say yes, and 88% of B2B marketers say yes as well. Email is the most effective out of the comparison between that and social. With regards to customer acquisition, so obviously this helps with the B2C side of things as well. It's actually 40 times more effective. So you can really get the most out of this for minimal costs. Whereas social is quite free, minimal costs, greater rewards. So lead nurturing. So does anyone know what lead nurturing is at all? Or heard of the concept? Yeah? So a few of you. So lead nurturing is actually a really good thing that everyone should be doing, and it's getting your subscribers to be ready to buy your product or service from you. Now, as you can see here, 45% increase in lead nurturing based from email marketing itself compared to social, which in turn creates 50% more sales-ready leads. Okay, so that's how the return on investment actually is achieved. Now, personalising. So who personalises their campaigns currently, for those who do email marketing? Good to see a few of you do. You can actually get an extra 14% more click-throughs just by personalising your email, which in turn can give you 10% more conversions. Now that extra 10% could be something as minimal as £10 to £1,000. All helps and adds up. Now, let's go back to mobile. So, I mentioned how big mobile is at the moment. The open rates have hit a new high. Figures suggest globally 51% now, which in the UK, based upon our own statistics, is actually 68%. So this is using our own data. We have an integration with Litmus, and we actually monitored our own data, and 68% of opens were on mobile for our own data. So yes, mobile is booming, and mobile is big this year. So what we could say is, in the last 3 years, it's actually opens have gone up 180%, which obviously you can tell by the increase in the overall opens globally. And unique clicks have gone to 40% as well. So it's good to make sure your journey is completely mobile optimized, from email to the landing pages, your website, the forms that they may go to, wherever you're leading the subscribers. Now, mobile isn't only about mobile, it actually drives desktop engagement. Now, I don't know if any of you knew this, but people who open their email on a mobile and see it's mobile optimized are 65% more likely to click through from the desktop version. This is usually more common in B2C type campaigns. Those of you who get emails from someone like New Look or your supermarket or something like that, we'll have a look at that and basically go, yeah, I'll put that to one side. When I'm at home, I'll do it on the desktop. Might be a little bit easier for the user flow. Otherwise, drive them to the app if you have one. So the major changes. Now, as most of you are probably aware, Gmail probably took the forefront in the changes that they've done in the industry. First of all, with the tabs. So Gmail obviously keeps its data hidden, but they've been running since 2004 and have approximately 425 million users, of which 2 million are business addresses. So Gmail's infrastructure is actually really secure and robust, and that's why a lot of businesses use them to host their emails. Now, when we got the Gmail tabs, everyone was worried about getting in the primary inbox. So everyone was worried that they're going to go into the promotions and stuff like that. So we actually looked at some data from ReturnPath, and we got an inbox placement rate of 88.1%, and the open rates on average were 10.55, and then dropped after the promotions tab come in. So we saw, nearly a 1% drop in actual opens across emails. But it's not all about opens when it comes to your email marketing. The engagement is actually more beneficial to you guys. So let's have a look at the engagement. Once again, same inbox placement rate. An increase of almost 1.5% in engagement. So engagement is actually what drives your ROI. Unless it's an informative campaign where there is no clicks or purchase there, engagement is definitely key. So what can we learn from this? It allows for high relevancy in their campaigns. The better inbox placement itself was there, and obviously it leads to better engagement, which can then also maximize your ROI. So the priority inbox itself, what are the major campaigns or types of campaigns that hit there? It's actually finance. So for those of you in the finance sector, a bit of a little boost for you guys. As you can see right down the end, not knocking it still though, but you've got social down the end. Now, Gmail also brought out image caching, which we're hoping a lot of other email providers actually take on. So, especially Outlook and stuff like that. What they do is they actually take a copy of your images already and store them securely on their server so they can show them as default. Now, this allows you to get more accurate open rates, creates a better user experience for your subscribers so they don't have to download the images, and you can also deliver your message effectively and clearly. Gmail also brought out the promotions tab. Now, I don't know how many of you are aware of this, and it's mainly benefits to B2C type things, but it allows you to create a visual grid layout in your campaign. So you can have a really nice big banner, a logo, and nice descriptive text to let you know what the campaign's about. And as you can see in the screenshot on the left, you can actually see what the campaign is. Helps you, drive that engagement, get the opens in there. Next we have Yahoo, who recycled their email addresses. Now, at Campaign Master, we're very big on being spam compliant and make sure your lists are clean. What Yahoo done is, out of their 281 million registered users, they had a load that were inactive, who hadn't used their accounts in a year. So someone like Karen Jones would go to subscribe for a nice simple email address and get something as horrible as that, which if you put that on a CV, an employer's going to look at it and go, no thanks. So Yahoo decided to start recycling so that these cleaner email addresses can become available again. And basically what that meant is you could be emailing someone who subscribed a year ago who is somebody different now, basically. Therefore, if they complain to a spam filter or anything, you can get on a blacklist. Okay? So if you want more information on this, we have a whole post of this on our blog, so by all means go and have a look. Now, a big thing that changed recently was authentication. So does anyone know if their emails are digitally signed with sort of DKIM or DMARC or anything like that? So what it means is you have your usual suspects of inboxes and you have your from address. You deliver to these inboxes, and before you actually hit there, it asks for verification of who you are and where you're sending from. If you pass that, you're then allowed in, and that's the initial signature. And that's before it even bases upon your sending IP, your content itself, and how spammy your stuff could be. Now, as I can see here, it looks for a digital signature in your email, which is something at Campaign Master we've been doing all the time. So it's always a good thing to have, and ensure your ESP does provide this for you as well, as it will maximise your deliverability. So now we move on to the next topic, which is about getting engaged. And I don't mean to be married, I mean getting your campaigns opened, read and clicked. So let's have a look at the engagement process itself. So what we've got here is we send out our campaign and it hits what's known as the inbox triage. So everyone knows, they get their inbox, they scan through, I'll have a look at that email. That's that process. From there, your creative actually comes in. So the actual nice, pretty HTML campaign that you've done takes that effect before your call to action takes play and actually, confirms the booking or gets the white paper download, depending on the type of campaign you're sending. So there's 5 engagement hot points. Most importantly, the subject line. Then we have your layout and design before going into your actual content, your call to action, and last but no means least, your proofing and testing. Okay, so let's go into this into a bit more detail. Subject line, do's and don'ts. Right. Do be clear and not clever. Okay, loads of people like reading a clever subject line, doesn't get you the best results. So let's have a look at some examples. So apologies for my text going over to the next line there. But as you can see, there's some clever subject lines there. Saying, are you ready, March of the Penguin, stuff like that. Nice little play on phrases. And let's versus them against some clear subject lines. So in the clear ones, as you can see, you know what you're getting in the email. The clever ones are quite, they are clever, but they're ambiguous. You don't know what it is inside there. Clear ones actually help you get your open rates better. So, as we can see, Marketing Sherpa done a result based upon 45,000 sends, and the uplift is quite substantial compared to clever and clear. Okay, so just remember, be clear, not clever. If you're unsure, do a split test. Don't be deceptive. So, as you can see here on the left, Troop have said that they've replied to an email when they've actually launched it. So, quite deceiving, creates a bit of mistrust, doesn't make you want to open the email either. So, there's a couple of examples. We're sorry for our super discounts. I would probably just delete that straight away if I'm honest with you. If you do deceive, you're looking at anything between 47.5% and 42.6% lower clicks. So once again, your engagement drops drastically. Localization. So a lot of people like talking about IP-based content. You can also just do it in your subject line as well with localization and personalizing the campaign. Commonly found in more sort of like holidays and, as you can see here, estate agents and stuff like that. But it gives them more sense of deeper understanding when it comes to your subscriber base. Makes them more infused, more inclined to actually open and read your emails. Don't use excess formatting. Not only will you more than likely hit the junk folder, it looks quite ugly as well. So it might stand out in the inbox, but at the same time it just looks spammy and you're less than unlikely to get into the inbox itself. However, do mix it up. So, we've got a couple of emails here where they've said white paper and square brackets, nice, clean, doesn't look messy. Because there's not much special characters used, less likely to hit the junk folder. And same with the infographic below. Also, in a lot of your sort of like more B2C and more consumer-based clients, using your icons as well can be quite useful depending on the type of campaign you're sending. Doesn't affect the deliverability actually on these ones. So it's good to include if you have that type of campaign. Maybe with Christmas around the corner, look to do some testing on that. Now, I can't stress this enough. Your subject line is the most important thing of your campaign. And the reason for that is it's the only part that's guaranteed to be seen. You know, people will look through their inbox and they will see your subject line. If your subject line doesn't get their attention, it's a wasted send, your email's not going to get opened. Okay, so don't rush it, spend time on it, and make sure that the actual subject line is clear and not deceptive in any way, shape or form. Now, who's familiar with A/B tests or split testing? Good, more people than I was expecting. Who actually uses it? Good, okay. So, obviously do use your split tests. So here's an example of how you would do this. We have subject line A, a guide to new tax rates. And subject line B, infographic, a guide to new tax rates. We have our data list. So all of our subscribers that we're sending to. And we segment these into 20% segments. Okay, like so. We then live launch to these, and depending on which one gets the better open rate, because we're testing the subject line and your subject line is for your opens, we then send the winning version to the remainder of your data. Okay, so split testing should be an essential part of your email marketing, especially when you're trying to maximize opens and clicks. So as you can see, split test does improve conversions. So as you can see, the conversion rate here between the version A and B on this campaign actually saw a 19.2% uplift in conversions. Okay, so that's a hell of a lot of uplift. And the more and more you split test, the more you get to know your data, the better your subject lines and your content will be. So let's have a look at the design and layout. So, firstly, don't overcomplicate. Who can actually tell me what these two campaigns are about in 5 seconds? Good, nobody. Too much going on. You can't see what's happening.